What's up, tubers? Today what we got going on is I don't know, early 2000 Husqvarna lawn tractor. It was dropped off because the deck doesn't work. What I mean it doesn't work, it has electric clutch PTO. This guy here, when you pull that out, the deck doesn't engage. So what we got to do, always some type of electrical issue with that, whether the clutch is bad, the switch is bad. That's usually the issue. Switch or clutch goes bad, or sometimes both, because if the clutch down there shorts out, it can melt and heat up the switch and ruin that. So a lot of times you got to change both. But all you need is a multimeter, and all we're going to do is set it to ohms and just make sure that everything works. And then I'll also check the wiring here and see what's going on with that if I need to. Alright, let me go get my multimeter. Alright, well, the first thing to do is I'm going to check this switch just because it's easy. So there's a wiring harness right back here that we can just simply pull right off the switch, and then there's tabs on both sides of the switch. You just squeeze, you can push the switch right through, and it'll pop out this side. Now, this is a little bit of a tight fit. There we are. And then got the multimeter on here. We're going to set it to ohms, and then just to hear an audible beep, set it on the noise. We're going to test these legs across this way to make sure they're just opening and closing. So right now that's closed. We'll pull it. Nope, I didn't pull it far enough. Oh, it was open. So there, it's open. Pulled it. So we got a beep. Now we'll close it. No beep. And we'll just do the same thing for these legs. We got noise on that one. Nothing there. So when I pull the knob, that one will light up, and this one's quiet. So we'll check this last one, see if it works. We got noise, no noise. Close it, noise, no noise. Alright, so our switch tested out good. So we can pop it back in. Alright, now what we did was locate our wiring that goes down to the electric clutch. And we're going to check. We're going to ohm it out and see if it's any good. The general rule of thumb's like 1 to 4, 2 to 4 ohms, something like that. I believe it's 2 to 4. So we'll see what we have. And we have nothing. So that's telling us it's bad, or the wiring harness is bad. It goes down to it. And while we're here, we can see if this has power. I can just put this here on the positive side of the wire, switch this back over to volts, and then it's unplugged, so the deck can't turn on. Turn our key on. Got this on the positive side, put this on the negative side of the battery, and yeah, we have 12.5 volts. So it is getting power down to there. I'll turn the switch off, and it takes power away from there. Turn it back on. We got 12.5 volts again. So it is sending power down there. So the problem is in the clutch itself. So let's pull, see if we can get down in there and see that any better. See, that guy right there is where the problem lies. So, well, there's our problem already. Look at that wire. It's broken right there. Let me pull this guy off here. Sometimes they take some wiggle jiggling on to get them off. look there. That wasn't too bad to diagnose. Looks like it just, from vibrations, it might have just broke off. Let's get this little section of harness out and zip tie it on. I'll cut that zip tie. We'll get it on the bench and we'll solder that back together. Alright guys, we got this off here. Now, I think there might be some kind of repair already done under here by the way it looks. And it was wrapped really tight right there. And you see how that wire is nice and straight, and this wire was pulled over because it was wrapped so tight. That's probably why it broke. It was wrapped so tight and eventually just vibrated itself to death. Let's see what we can find under here. Yeah, we do. We have another repair. Someone's already repaired this broken wire before. They've taken and... see if I can cut this off here. Got a piece of shrink wrap on here. Let's see what's hiding under here. See if they soldered it together or if they just twisted it together. Yeah, they did solder it. So what I'll do is I'll cut this extension wire off, or if I wiggle it around enough it'll probably just fall off. But I'll cut that extension piece off there. What I'll do is I'll solder in a new piece, and I'm not going to wrap it so tight that makes it want to snap again. We'll let it have a little bit of give to it. That way it can do its mower things and shake and vibrate around without snapping again. Alright, what I did was I took and I popped this pin out of this connector. You just push on the back side, there's a little locking tab. You just push on that with a small flat blade screwdriver. You can pull it right out of this connector. So all I'm going to do now is I have this piece of wire on here. I open these prongs up and I'm just going to solder it right to that. That way it'll be good and solid. And then what I'll do is I'll take some marine grade shrink wrap. We'll wrap that around there, that way it won't get in there and corrode. And then we'll take and solder the other end back to the wire that we pulled off. Okay, now I put the end back in here after I closed those ears and put the shrink wrap on it. Now I've kind of looped it up the same way they did have it, but I took it further up in the harness. That way it's not here where this kind of bends sharp. That way it won't be as tight and maybe not break again. So I looped it up here. Now I'm just going to solder this wire tight, and I'll put a piece of shrink wrap on it too. There we are, nice and solid. Pinch that in together. That way no water can get in. Beautiful. And then what I'll do is I'll just slip this sheath right back down over it, and I'm not going to wrap electrical tape around it like it did have, because that's probably why it broke again. because it was wrapped so tight right there at that bend, and it could not vibrate and just move around how it wanted to. So we're just going to leave it just like that. That'll be perfect. We'll put it back in the mower, and then we'll do an ohms test again for that electric clutch and make sure it's good. Alright, we got our wire fixed. We got it reinstalled. I have it zip tied on the frame here, up away from the steering arm, so when you steer it, it won't catch on it. Now I want to do an ohm test. We tried to before and we couldn't because of that broken wire. Now let's see what we have. 4.1. So I'd say that's probably just okay. It should work now. Alright, we got it plugged in. Let's give it a test start. Let's see if the deck will spin over now. Fixed. Job complete. Deck is working. Didn't even have to buy any parts. That's perfect. This is an older machine, so it's good you don't have to buy parts for it, because something this age, you don't want to put a lot of money in it because it's getting towards the end of its life anyways. I'm guessing it's somewhere probably around 20 years old. 15 to 20 years old, something like that. I didn't look up the exact age or model number. But alright guys, if that helped you out fixing yours, make sure you give me a like, subscribe to me, it would really help me out. Now the only thing I got left to do is I'll probably just go over and the maintenance stuff of this. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Peace.